Temple. Ia să vedem cât costă intrarea.
Poți să-ți iei și cremă de soare și ochelari și șapcă și pălărie.
Poți să-ți iei ce vrei tu. Din 1895 această fotografie. 1870-1903. 1900. Și așa arăta în 1870-1903, înainte să fie amenajat.
Luxorul? Mamă, ce
Salt
eroină,
View, lacul Sacru.
înainte de curățare. 1870. Iar aici îl avem pe Georges Legrand et Camille Saint-Saëns.
Setii 2. Înțeles, din 1934.
Construit între 26 și 54 în timpul excavărilor în templu din Karnak.
Și acesta este templul Karnak. Imens. Și cu piscină. Lacul. Balta.
Lacul Sacru.
Intrarea. Da. Toate siturile arheologice. Arată cam la fel Karnak ca Luxorul.
Cam da.
Să facem și noi o expediție total diferită. Am luat un egiptolog să ne povestească câte ceva despre acest templu, că să nu mai stăm noi să dăm Google Search. Pentru 50 de lire egiptene, adică undeva la 3 dolari și ceva pentru două persoane.
Și încă ceva, n-am zis
Jumătate
că
de oră.
costă intrarea. Intrarea costă 200 de lire egiptene. Este deschis până la ora 5 și jumătate.
The southern house of him, Luxor Temple. 21 days later he was coming back again to this temple. So Nile was coming, water was coming from the river Nile throughout this canal, and huge boats were coming also to give builders sandstone blocks for the construction of the temple. About 13 years ago, they found what we call the commercial jetty, this little wall and this ramp over there. So they were excavating here, they were doing excavations. So what is the function of the commercial jetty? So boats were coming to give builders sandstone blocks, to give food to priests who were living inside next to the sacred lake, to do the daily worship, the daily prayer for the god Am. On the religious jetty over there we find a little obelisk. There was another one to the left, but the other one is missing. Maybe destroyed by the earthquake that happened in 27 before Christ. It was so powerful, it was 9 degrees. But due to a very intelligent system of architecture inside that saved a lot, we still find something to see. Otherwise, all of this will be completely destroyed. So it's a very intelligent system of architecture that I'm going to show you inside that protect this temple. Amun had 3 images. The first image as a man with 2 feathers above the head. The second image as a lion body with a ram-headed god, with a ram head. So that is the animal image, the animal form. And third image as a goose, as a bird. Do you know the goose?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So, but it is rare as a representation for him as a goose. Anyway, later we find this big pylon, the facade of this temple, we call it pylon. And on the pylon we find scenes, like the king smiting his enemies in front of the god, or the king doing offerings. But no scenes, because the work wasn't finished, because of civil wars, economic troubles, and so on. Anyway, I'm going to show you the difference between this unfinished pylon and another one already finished inside. Let's get there to see.
Trebuia să o facem și pe asta cu un ghid, că mai aflăm câte ceva. Chiar dacă puteam da un Google search, am zis să auzim și de la un local, mai ales care a studiat aceste lucruri destul de importante. Deci în dreapta este o moschee și aici, din ce am înțeles, aduceau hrana pentru
Amun-Ra.
pentru regele.
Da, toți faraonii care au domnit de-a lungul timpului au construit în cinstea acestui zeu ceva în tot acest templu de-a lungul timpului.
Da.
Iar această construcție din spate, moscheea, este veche de acum 200 de ani. Este o construcție nouă, nu face parte din tot acest templu. Și este făcută de un preot care locuia în acest sătuc din față.
În față noastră erau două obelixuri. Singurul care a rămas este cel din dreapta, cel din stânga a dispărut.
Cauza cutremurului care
Sau cutremur.
The ancient canal that I told you about, that was going through Luxor Temple.
Aha, și aici pe vremuri era un canal care ducea direct la Luxor Temple, unde am fost ieri.
And that is a little obelisk, but the other one is missing, maybe destroyed by the earthquake that I told you about.
Deci alt obelisk se pare că a fost distrus de cutremur. Și bineînțeles avem aici la fel.
Sphinx's Avenue, so the ram-headed god, that is the second image for the god Amun, and the founder is the King Ramses II. We find little statues for King Ramses II under each head.
Aha.
se vede statuia lui Ramses de dedesubtul fiecărui sfinț.
Da, deci fiecare sfinx are statuia lui Ramses. Mai bine și aici, la fel, este destul de bine conservată.
That is the unfinished pylon, and I am going to show you a complete one.
How many sphinx are here?
22 about,
22.
11 on each side.
Deci pe fiecare parte sunt câte 22 de exponate.
Și ăsta este pilonul neterminat, a zis, și acum vom merge să-l vedem pe cel terminat, să vedem
Sorry,
diferența.
40.
40.
Yeah, 20 on each side. You have to prepare your tickets and body. We find some graffiti above. Can you see the first row of square holes? Can you see such writing and graffiti above?
Yes.
Yes.
In
This
the
hieroglyph front says, so when the French soldiers arrived here in 1800, this site was covered with sand, and sand arrived till this first line. So they inscribed this text easily. They told us about the discovery of this place at the time. Then, Series of Antiquity started excavating this site 40 years later. So they removed all of such sand. Can you see this?
in the right, no?
Yeah, the right
Yes.
in the middle. The first row of square holes, the second one above, between you will find the text. So we went through the Sphinx's Avenue here. We saw the unfinished pylon. Here is the open courtyard, the three chapels behind us here. Then you will find the hypostyle hall. Then you will find the obelisk of the Queen Hatshepsut and the obelisk of her daddy. Then you will find the Middle Kingdom courtyard, the most ancient place in Karnak temples. You will find the festival hall of Thutmose III, and there you will find the first botanical garden and first zoo built in the history of our world. Then you will find the eastern gate, the houses of Egyptian priests or priests of Ammon at the time. Here you will find the sacred lake, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th pylons, with the Sphinx's avenue going till the temple of his wife Mut. From the gate of Ptolemy III of Philadelphia, you'll find another way of Sphinxes going till Luxor Temple, about 3 kilometers of distance. So here we find the temple of Petah, and that is the temple of Montu, the war god. All of this is about 84 acres.
Wow.
The whole place, yeah.
Huge.
Huge.
Deci prima grădină zoologică din lume a fost aici, undeva în dreapta sus.
Și prima grădină botanică.
Botanică.
Here in this area.
Hai că deja e foarte distractiv, că poți să pui o grămadă de întrebări, e distractiv cu un ghid. Bine, avem bulan că suntem doar noi doi, că așa dacă eram vreo 10 oameni... Ia să vedem ce avem.
Here is the king putting offerings on the offering table, burning incense in front of the sacred boat of Ammon. Here is the ram head with a sun disk. Here is the body of the boat with a pedal behind here. So the shrine in the middle, the naos, housing the statue of the god, but not showing, erased or broken here. You find 3 chapels for the family of Ammon, 3 statues for the family of Ham, but such statues were taken a long time ago. The wooden ceiling, the ceiling fell down. So let's have a look inside the chapel of his wife.
Deci asta era...
Amon, nu?
Da. Să vedem cum arăta și locul. Soție, care avea 2 statuete. Se pare că...
Here is the sacred boat of his wife. Look at this beautiful face of hair of the goddess here, Mut, with a double crown above her head, with a pedal here on the boat.
Ok.
So let's go to the chapel of their son.
Intrăm la Honsu.
Here is the sacred boat of to the moon god. You can find the falcon head with the moon disk and moon crescent above the head. But the other image is a man with a moon disk above the head, with a crescent. Here is the naos, or the shrine in the middle, for housing the statue of this divine.
Și aici în față erau bineînțeles 2 statui, una în stânga, una în dreapta, dar sunt dispărute.
Tutankhamun of limestone here, so it is so well polished as if it was done of marble, but there is limestone offering something to the god Ammon. Fallen kings like the Nubian king Taharqa were doing constructions here for the god Ammon. So it was really important to make the priests of Ammon happy, to avoid any clash with the authority of the priests. So the Nubian king built 5 columns on each side. Only one survived, this one. We call this place the Kiosk of Taharqa. So the Nubian king who ruled Egypt around 525 before Christ. شكرا أبو أيمن على الفرنساويين دول.
عليه برضو.
So the priests were taking the sacred boat from the sanctuary to put it here for a while before going to the canals that I showed you. Now what is the difference between the unfinished pylon and the finished pylon? Here you can find drawings or scenes. The king smiting his enemies in front of the god on the wall over there, right? We didn't find any drawings there. Number 1.
Nothing?
No drawings. We didn't find drawings there. Here we find statues, right?
Right.
We didn't find statues there,
Yeah.
right? Here's the same height. We find symmetry of work. A little bit destroyed, smaller than that one, but finished. Here, no. This one is 40 meters to the left and only 28 to the right. So that is not normal. Can you imagine? Finally, mud bricks. Mud, we call it scaffoldings. Scaffoldings of mud for the construction, for putting blocks, and for doing drawings and scenes. No scaffoldings here because the work was finished. They removed it. But as this one wasn't finished, that one wasn't finished, so they left such scaffoldings to finish the work one day. You understand now?
Yes.
Of granite. So this king ruled Egypt for 67 years. He had 84 children, 52 boys and 32 girls. For kidding, we say Ramses instead of Ramses.
Ramsey.
Yeah, so he had 11 wives.
11 wives?
Yeah, Nefertari is a beautiful wife. There is an image for her inside the hypostyle hall. He married also the daughter of the Hittite king to confirm the first peace treaty in the history of our world between him and the Hittites. He married his daughter, this lady, in front of him. It was something traditional and normal for the king to marry his sister, to give his children the royal blood. But it's something more terrible, actually. He married his daughter, this lady.
Wow.
At the age of 70, he married another one of his daughters. He's wearing the double crown on the head, the royal headdress Nemes. He's catching the hawk and the flail, so they are crossed on his chest, as you see. He is catching the royal kilt Shindit. The incensed royal kilt Shindit.
Îmbrăcat tradițional.
Da,
S-a căsătorit?
S-a căsătorit.
O dată cu fisa și încă o dată iar cu fisa când avea
17 ani.
70.
Ca să ducă mai departe sângele regal.
Sângele legal, ce nebunie.
So, the Nile flood attacked this temple in 1887, and this blue line shows us the height of the Nile flood at the time. So it was before the construction of the high dam at Aswan.
Deci asta e înălțimea până unde venea Nilul în 1887, unde se vede dunga neagră.
That is the hypostyle hall. It was found like this as a pharaonic age with a ceiling. 61 columns on each side and 12 in the middle passage. And here we find it was found like this in 1899. So columns were inclined. So the French archaeologist Monsieur Legrand did restorations for such columns. He used the same technique as Pharaoh. They used mud brick scaffoldings for the construction.
Impresionant.
Ammon, the first image of Ammon as a man with two feathers above the head of alabaster. And next to him we find a statue of Ramses II according to the inscription of the cartouche, the royal cartouche that we found at the bottom.
Deci asta e prima.
Prima reprezentare a lui Amon, cap de om.
That is sandstone as material, and quarries of sandstone are found to the north of Komombo, about 180 kilometers to the south of Luxor. So we're getting this by boats.
From Sudan
No, from here, 180 kilometers to the south,
to the south. Aha.
before Komombo and Aswan.
Ok.
So ancient visitors inscribed their names when the ground was higher on such columns. El Bevri from Berlin, he came in 1852.
Berlin in 52.
Here we find Kowalowski, 1850. The ground was higher actually. Barcelon, 1818, and so on.
Aha.
So light was coming, there was a ceiling covering all the hypostyle hall. Light was coming from this windows,
Yes.
such windows, to eclair, to lighten the passageway for the god Ammon during the festival. What is the function of this place? It was a waiting area. So high officials were waiting here. They were not allowed to go further inside. It was strict. It was forbidden for them. So they were waiting for the arrival of the sacred boat carried by priests to go to the canal, then to Luxor Temple.
Ok.
So the architraves are really huge. Each one is from 60 to 70 tons.
Wow. 70 de tone.
So the whole space of this hypostyle hall is more than 4,000 meters square. Here is the scene for the whole family. The wife is putting her hand on the shoulder of her husband, Ammon. Then we find the goddess of love and music, Hathor, is giving Ammon some flowers. Then we find the king Seti, the father of Ramses, who built this place. He constructed the hypostyle hall. She's taking him from his hand to introduce him to the god. And behind you will find the moon god Khonsu, the human face, the human body with the moon disk and the moon crescent above the head. He's writing on a branch of a palm tree the number of years of power of this king.
În ce parte a supraviețuit a tavanului.
Here is the only part of the ceiling that survived. So all the hypostyle hall was covered like this. And we'll find, look at the beautiful colors. Egyptians used natural substances for coloring. They used iron oxide for the red color, and they used coal for the black color. To fix such colors, they used resins of trees to make a kind of glue.
Deci astea sunt culorile originale. Our original colors.
So all the hypostyle hall was colored like this. If you want to discover a wonderful place, we call it Dandara Temple.
Dandara, yeah.
Have you been there?
No, it's in Kenya, no?
Kenai, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful colors. All elements are well preserved because it was constructed after the earthquake of 27.
Wow.
So it is so well protected. Colors are amazing there. Original, all original there. In peace. Here. To
Wooden.
absorb, to absorb the shock of the terrible earthquake.
Clever.
So that was the idea. That reduced the power of the earthquake from 9 degrees to 6.5. Otherwise, it did a lot of damage, by the way, like this pylon here, that pylon here.
Yes.
It destroyed many things. The obelisk also. It destroyed 2 obelisks here, 3 obelisks. But this system protected, however. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to find it. So here in this place there were 4 obelisks. Here is one. The second one is outside Egypt. 2
In
were
France,
destroyed.
no?
Not in the, and we have in France, we have in Italy, we have in Turkey, we have in many countries.
Okay.
But here, and 2 obelisks destroyed by the earthquake that I told you about. So here is a piece of such obelisks. What is the function of the obelisk, by the way? The obelisk is a symbol of the sun religion, the sun cult. Actually, in Egypt, there was a sacred stone called Ben. It was a conic one, a conic stone like this. Egyptians saw that this sacred stone was receiving sun rays and the sun disk at the end of the day. From this shape came the idea of Giza pyramids, or royal tombs having a pyramidal image. It was also the same for the top of the obelisk. They gave also the top of the obelisk a pyramidal form, as you see. So that is the idea, by the way. So This obelisk is the obelisk of the Queen Hatshepsut. This one is 29 meters and a half, the height. How many tons? 323 tons. This one for her daddy here was only 19.5 meters high, only 143 tons. And here I show you that's what we call a sledge of wood with a big slab of granite here. So for the transportation, drawn by oxen and cords, ropes, huge ropes for sure.
And what is right on this?
Just the
obelisk?
name of the queen and some phrases showing that she did this wonderful work for her god Ammon.
In the front, Joseph. In the front and take away your house. Quickly.
So here is the obelisk of the Queen Hatshepsut, and here is the second obelisk of Her Majesty. The second obelisk is destroyed. As you see, we only find the base, the lower part, and the upper part is next to the sacred lake. Can you see the lower part only here of this obelisk? It was really huge like that one, that one. Really high, really huge. The same weight, 323 tons. So her stepson wanted to annoy her in the other wall. That's why he built a square fence, a high fence, to hide this obelisk from the sun rays. But in this way, he protected her work. He protected the inscriptions and the good color, the beautiful color at the bottom. I tell you why he hated her, but in shade, not
Wow. This tooth for this lady,
So that is high relief, and that is low relief. Can you see the difference
Yes.
of art in Egypt? Yeah.
And what is this? This is like
The
a
key
cave.
of life.
Cave life, no?
Key of life.
Ok. Știi că vorbim ieri că e cheia.
Aveam dreptate.
Da. Fără să știm niciun fel de informație.
So here we find war prisoners brought by Tutmosis III, Egyptian Napoleon at the time, the stepson of the Queen Hatshepsut. He brought enemies from everywhere. He attacked 17 countries. He ruled all of
17?
them. Yeah, he did 17 battles, sorry. He ruled all our neighboring countries.
Tutmosis.
Tutmosis, yes. He ruled Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Sudan, Libya, and all neighboring countries, yeah. This one, for example, came from a place called Ifit, I-F-T.
This is like
The feather, F, the viper, T, the half circle. That one came from another area called Aya, I-double-A, Aya. And here we find the royal name inscribed. We have 5 names for each pharaoh. But the most important are 2 actually, the birth name and the coronation name. We find the birth name, you have to find a duck with a sun disk like this. Can you see?
yes.
So that's the birth name inscribed inside. You have to find a bee with a basil stick.
Ok.
That is the coronation name inscribed inside.
Scarabei în Key of Life. Îți place?
Da. E ca lumea cu ghid. Ne băgăm pe ghid de acum încolo.
So we are to the east of the river Nile. Here is north and here is south. The symbol of north is papyri on this column. The symbol of south is lotus.
Lotus.
Yeah. So it means that the king is the king of Upper and Lower Egypt at the same time. Because in times of weakness, there was a king for each side. A king for Upper Egypt and a king for Lower Egypt.
Ok.
So to Moses, the Napoleon of Pharaohs ruled, of course, Upper and Lower Egypt. He ruled all our neighboring countries.
But in that time, people use lotus, the flower of lotus, to ceremony or to make some ceremonies.
It was just a symbol of Upper Egypt. So each time you find the Pharaoh seated on his throne, you have to find the Nile god happy, binding or bounding together the lotus and the papyrus flower. So that is among the ceremonies for sure. The king is the king of Upper and Lower Egypt.
Okay.
So here there was a door. You can find hinges or traces of hinges. It was a wooden door encrusted with gold, silver, diamond, all precious stones of acacia wood, but was taken away. So the
Was
founder-
stolen?
Yeah. This place, we call this place a sanctuary, the most sacred place. So that was the little house of the god. There was a statue inside the little boat that I told you about. So they're putting the sacred boat on this pedestal. And in front of the pedestal there was an offering table. Look from here, there was an offering table here. And that is the pedestal of the sacred boat. As I told you, all people were waiting outside the temple during the big festival.
Yeah.
Only priests were able to come here to carry the sacred boat on their shoulders till the canal.
And the boat was heavy?
No, not actually.
No?
No. I show you how now. By the way, the high priest was coming here every day to do some rituals, to put food for the god here. He was burning incense here, opening the shrine to change the clothes of the little god, or the statue of the little god, the little statue, of the god. At the end, he was going outside again to close the door. That was a daily ceremony of the god. By the way, the original sanctuary is behind us, but destroyed by time. The founder of this place is Philip Herodias, the brother of Alexander the Great. He wanted to have actually power through ruling Egypt without trouble. That's why he did like ancient pharaohs. He did the same ceremonies to rule Egypt. Let's have a look. I'll show you how. Here we can. Look up. You will find 3 rows of seals, the upper one, the middle one, and the lower one. Look at the upper one from left to right. You will find gods are washing and purifying. Actually, they are priests, are washing and purifying Philip Herodias, the brother of Alexander the Great. Then they are putting the white crown on his head, right? Then he is walking with them. Finally, he is seated, he is kneeling in front of Ammon, and Ammon is touching gently his crown. It means that he was chosen by the god Ammon as a ruler in Egypt. So that's a political sign. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So the central scene shows priests carrying a boat together. Look at the ram-headed god on each side, the shrine in the middle that we call Naos. They are heading to the temple of Luxor. The lower scene, finally, their return, shows their return at the end. And that is the were priest or a priest purifying the boat with the sacred boat at the end, with the sacred water at the end.
But was small boat.
Well, yeah, it was
Small
but
for-
at the time of Ramses, it was about 60 meters long. It wasn't heavy, it was light.
Light,
He
yeah.
used the light wood for sure to carry it, or papyri.
Sure. Deci aici se observă barca și cum o cărau ca să o aducă în templu.
Exact.
So here, that's what I call coronavirus discovery. They found this part only last year as the time of coronavirus. Then the temples were closed. I left from here, I went back to Cairo. I'm from Cairo, by the way. So that is the Middle Kingdom courtyard. The oldest part here, built around 400 before Christ.
400.
Sorry, 2000.
2000.
2000 before, yeah, it was built about 4,000 years ago. So we find the shrine in the middle, or the sanctuary, the original sanctuary, but it was destroyed, as you see, by time. The destroyed walls and pillars, all of this was built around 2000 before Christ. So inside this chapel, I'm going to show you destroyed scenes for the Queen Hatshepsut. That's what I call political hatred or political dislikeness. But here we find religious dislikeness. When Akhenaten changed the religion, actually, he asked all Egyptians to worship Aton. He replaced the religion of Ammon by Aton. But priests of Ammon were annoyed. They were not satisfied about the new religion. That's why he abandoned Thebes. And before going to Tell el-Amarna, he destroyed all images of Ammon. So that is a king Akhenaten, or Amenophes IV. So let's get inside to show you the political dislikeness between Hatshepsut and her stepson.
One question.
Yeah.
In Luxor, we saw it some kings with a dick.
Ah, yeah.
What it mean that?
So that is the god Ammon, means the god of fertility.
Ah, the god of fertility.
I'm going to show you his image inside, yeah. So the god of fertility, Ammon mean. Here he is. Look, that is Philip Radius giving lettuce. Do you know lettuce that we eat with salad?
Yeah.
He's giving lettuce to the god Ammon, means the god of fertility, but the dick is erased here.
Ah, yes.
First believers of Jesus Christ, of Christianity, were living here, and they erased.
There is
Yeah,
everything
they say
because
it is not suitable, something awful, something terrible.
aha, deci aici era la fel.
So that is the king. He is representing a little size kneeling in front of the god of fertility, Ammon.
And in the hand, what have? Like in the right
A
hand?
scepter.
A scepter?
A scepter, yeah.
Yes.
So that is Grand Granite, by the way. So we are now inside the chapel of the Queen Hatshepsut, and here we find the god Horus, the falcon god, and here we find the ibis god Tot. They are both washing and purifying the Queen Hatshepsut. So water is having the key of life form. Her image is erased, as you see. You can find the scarab burnt here. So that is political revenge.
Political revenge.
He didn't like her because she took from him power when he was young. That's why he destroyed all her images. He burned her scarab. So that's what I call political dislikeness or political hatred. And above, the Queen Hatshepsut is followed by her daughter. Both, they were putting offerings and sacrificed animals in front of the god Ammon. Can you see? Bounded oxen, birds, slain birds. Down, she's doing a ritual here. She's dancing in front of the god of fertility. Here is a dick.
Yeah.
Shown here. Ammon, with the black fig. The black fig is a symbol of fertility because the fertile soil in Egypt is black. It comes from Ethiopia. Volcanoes, we found volcanoes, Ethiopia and with the river Nile. And found lettuce here behind him, behind the god of fertility.